So when you're ready to put your design onto your metal, you have a few different options. One of them is a Sharpie. Sharpies will stick to metal. But even with a fine tip Sharpie, the line you make with the Sharpie is still much wider than the blade. So when you go to cut it, potentially you're going to wander around inside that line quite a bit. A better, cleaner line can be had by darkening the area that you're going to cut with the Sharpie, and then going back in with a scribe to scratch a nice thin bright line through the Sharpie. Instead of trying to draw a line and then shear according to that line, I can darken the area where I'm going to be cutting. Use a straight edge just to mark the ends of the cut. And then I can line these two lines up with the bottom blade of the shears. My preferred way to get my design on my metal is to draw it on paper and then use spray adhesive to attach the paper to my metal. This has a couple of advantages in that you can draw the design on the computer and then print off your template, and then if you mess up you can just print off another one and keep going. You're also not limited to the width of your Sharpie line then. You can use any pen or pencil, get a nice thin clean line. Now most glues won't stick to metal very well, especially glues that'll stick both paper and metal. So I've found that the best thing to use is a spray adhesive called Super 77, and we only use this down in the spray booth. So the next part of the demo is me showing you how to use the spray booth to apply the adhesive. Light switch, cleverly labeled light switch, so you can see the label in the dark. Main power switch for the ventilation. You press the button and nothing's going to seem like it's happening because it takes a while for the message to get to the building system. First thing that's going to happen is that you'll hear the air intake for the room kick up. And then a few seconds later, the exhaust fan for the spray booth will kick in eventually. Don't start spraying anything until you hear the exhaust fan for the spray booth come on. While we're waiting for that, I'm going to set up the spray booth so that I can spray this and not get spray adhesive on anybody else's stuff. There goes the vent booth. Super 77 spray adhesive because it sticks really well to both metal and paper, but you're going to spray your paper, not your metal. Don't even have your metal in the same place, just to keep from forgetting. Make sure that the nozzle lines up with the black line on the can. Hold it about 10 inches, 12 inches away from the piece of paper. And just give it a few quick spritzes. You don't need a heavy coat, or it'll become so gooey that it just slides around on your metal. Give it a few seconds to stiffen up before you apply it to your metal. When you first apply it, it will be really gooey and slide around. You want to let it dry for a few seconds and then stick it to your metal and rub it down really well. And when you rub across the edge, not along the edge. The edges of your metal may be sharp, so if you rub along the edge, it might cut through the paper and into your skin. But you want to make sure you rub it down really well, or else it'll come up as you're working. And then you should be able to just pull down on the paper and tear it across the edges of the metal to get rid of the excess. If there's still a bunch stuck, you can stick it around the other edge. Otherwise, in another video, I'll show you how to cut it off with the file. Alright? So when you're done, take the spray can, put it back in the flammable cabinet. There's supposed to always be a can of this down here. If there's not, ask me and I'll give you a new one. When you're done, throw away the piece of paper that you're using to catch the glue. And turn off the system. Just like when you turn it on, it won't immediately turn off. You can hear the fan for the vent system just turned off. The fan that's pushing air into the room is still on. You don't have to wait for that to turn off. You can leave once the booth shuts down. All right? When you go to leave, the door is going to be held shut by the air pressure in the room. You're going to have to really turn the handle and jerk hard on it. And then turn off the light switch. And that's it.